Wasabi guys, Void here coming back at y'all with another one of these videos, one of my new series where I go over a commander must-have, a card from a relatively new set, and Ixalan is the newest set that's out. Now last week I went over Revel in Riches, which was an awesome black enchantment where whenever a creature dies of your opponent's, you get a treasure token, and it's just a cool way to get extra mana with that card. With this card, Growing Rites of Itlimoc, you have a way to get a ton of mana out there. Now, when I go over a lot of these cards in this series, especially for the future, I'm going to be going over cards that are going to see play in a lot of different decks in the format, not just one specific deck or even just two. This card is capable of seeing play in multiple different commander decks. So if you don't know what the card does already, it starts out as an enchantment. You play it for 3 mana. When it enters the battlefield, you get to look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card, so if you don't have one, you don't have to reveal anything, and then you put the rest on the bottom in any order. However, the best part about it is, at your end step, at the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform Growing Rites of Itlimoc. And what it transforms into is Itlimoc, Cradle of the Sun. It can tap for 1 green mana, but who really cares? The best part about it is because it's basically a Gaia's Cradle, because it can tap to add 1 green mana for each creature you control. Another upside here is that even if you have 0 creatures, it can still tap for green mana, so it's basically, for all intents and purposes, a Gaia's Cradle, for Commander especially. I know this is probably going to see some standard play. I wouldn't expect to see a whole ton. I don't think it's good enough to replace Gaia's Cradle in Legacy, not even close to it. It's just not quick enough for Legacy, but for Commander, this card is perfect. No one wants to spend however much money Gaia's Cradle costs right now. It's probably something insane like $200. Last time I checked, it was really high. And Growing Rites of Itlimoc basically fixes that issue with the reserve list. You're reprinting the card. You're making it, yeah, it's not as broken. You don't get the land to start off, but it's basically a reprint of a fantastic card for Commander because there's so many decks that play creatures, period. So, hey, tapping to add any amount of green mana, as long as it's more than 1, is usually going to be worth it. So as far as commanders go, there's really one where I think that this works out perfectly, at least through my experience playtesting, and that is Prosh, Skyraider of Care. The whole deck is just based around tokens, getting a huge army out there. Either you want to sacrifice all those creatures or do something with them. Overrun effects. With all those creatures out there, tapping to add that much green mana. Granted, you are in a multicolored deck and it's just green mana, but still, that's a ton of mana to work with. And you have the obvious options here of throwing it into a mono green deck. Hopefully it's something to do with Elf Tribal. You could use Azuri Renegade Leader, or you could use Freyalise Llanowar's Fury. Very similar. Works pretty decently as an Elf Tribal commander. I've found that to be the case in the past with my own personal experiences. But having more green mana is never a bad thing in a mono green deck. But really where I think that this card is going to shine is when you have those incredibly overcosted spells, such as the Eldrazi. But not just the overcosted Eldrazi, which are incredible if you can get them out there just by tapping 1 land. Why the hell not? We also have expensive spells like Tooth and Nail, which, yeah, you could just pay the 7, do one or the other. You're going to entwine it, you want to get both, so 9 mana, hey, you're likely going to be able to just tap this 1 land and get your 9 mana, or even more than that. And hey, there's other spells such as Court of Calling, which are X-costed and are going to tutor up for some pretty awesome creature options. So that's always something to take into consideration. But really, a really fun commander option that I see this in is probably Derevi Imperial Tactician, because she's all about tapping and untapping permanents. So being able to untap a Gaia's Cradle, basically, that is just disgusting. And if there was anything really bad about the card, it's the fact that it's just green mana. But ask anyone who's ever played with Gaia's Cradle, that's not really a problem. So when it comes to costs, a regular non-foil version of the card right now is $5, so you might want to get a copy while you can, while it's still cheap. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the original Gaia's Cradle in terms of pricing, because again, it's not reserve list, but I don't think it's going to settle around $5. I think it's going to go up even more. I think it's just so powerful in the format. A foil version of the card, it is a flip card, so take that into consideration, is around $20. That's pretty insane. And the Buy a Box promo, the one that has the sort of treasure map flip side to it, which looks absolutely beautiful, is around $20. So you're going to probably want to invest. I would invest in the buy a box promo version of it for the treasure map, whatever you want to call it, promo. I think that's very cool. And it's around the same price of the foil for the original from Ixalan, so you can't really go wrong there. Pre-release, same thing, a little over $20, but when you consider the fact that it is a flip card and flip foils are pretty highly sought after, they just look beautiful. A lot of people just love them. I love them, of course. This isn't like Revel in Riches, though, where Revel in Riches is still kind of dirt cheap, and the potential for the card to go up is just, it's there. With this card, I don't know. I mean, the potential is there for the card to go up. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, however. I just don't see its playability in Standard being there. I don't think it's going to replace Gaia's Cradle and Legacy. For now, it's just a Commander card until someone can make use out of it in Modern, maybe. Who knows? But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you take this card into consideration if you have not already. I think for the most part, this one's kind of a given that's going to see play in Commander regardless of how slow it is compared to the original Gaia's Cradle. The fact that it is going to give you that similar mana, I mean, it's just going to see play. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Void here, signing off.